Hey guys, what's up? It's the Tominator here. So the prejudging for the 2019 Mr. Olympia is just concluded. So I wanted to go through this final call up. As of Friday, as of prejudging, this is your top four in the Mr. Olympia men's open class. So from left to right, we have Hadi Chupan, William Bonac, Brandon Curry, and Rolly Winkler. All right off the bat, I gotta say, I'm very impressed with Hadi Chupan. I mean, he really lived up to the hype. He brought it. Best conditioned athlete in the show, at least in this division, for sure. He was hard as nails. You can see it right here. Look through the thighs, look through the midsection. Nobody has the cuts as deep and as clean as Hadi. However, they have him on the outside, so that would indicate that your top two would be William and Brandon Curry in no particular order. However, I think spoiler alert, but I think that Hadi should actually be edging out William because they're a similar build. They're both shorter, stockier guys with lots of muscle on their frame, but Hadi is edging him out in conditioning. So for that reason, I would have Hadi in second. I would still give the nod for the overall win to Brandon Curry, despite the fact that he's not nearly as dry or as hard as Hadi. He's just structurally so much better, and he's got a size advantage. He's got better shape, better lines. He doesn't have a single weak pose. I would personally give the nod to Curry, but honestly, you can make a strong argument for Hadi or William. Rolly, however, disappointed. He's pretty off, not nearly as good as he was last year. He's holding some water. You don't see the separation as cleanly as most of the other guys. You can notice that right here through the quads. But anyway, let's get into it and watch them go through some of these poses, okay? Because then it'll become evident. Front double biceps. You can notice the gun show, man, on the right with Curry and Rolly. Both these guys have mountainous biceps. Rolly's triceps in the forearms, though, just set him apart when we're talking about the arms. So I think it's a great shot for him. However, when we go downstairs, even through the midsection, he's not showing a whole lot of detail, but especially through the thighs. I mean, just look at Rolly's quads compared to Hadi's. It's night and day. But Hadi's got some slightly high lats compared to the rest of these guys. And, the muscle bellies, like the shape through his arms isn't as pretty. The hardness is there, the graininess. Look at the vascularity through the quads. The waistline's nice and trim. Brandon Curry actually looks a little bit disappointing from this look right here. Nothing's really popping out. I don't know if maybe the light's not hitting him as well as it is for someone like Hadi, but I don't know. It's not really popping out to me as much. It could be that dark background. Because like with William, you can notice the outline of his arms a lot better than Brandon's because of the brighter background behind him. So in this one's tough. It's really apples and oranges. Do you go with Hadi because of the conditioning? Do you go with William because he's those two are very comparable? Or do you go with the gun show over there between Rolly and Brandon? I'm not sure. Certainly Brandon's better than Rolly because of the legs. But between Hadi and Bonac, that's a tough call. I like Bonac's biceps a little more, but I like Hadi's quads a little more. In the front lat spread, Hadi looks tremendous. He's really filling it out. The lats look super wide, much better than I thought he looked in Vancouver Pro. Again, it could be due to the background. We're noticing the lats pop out more. Curry, again, I think is getting hurt a little bit by the black drop behind him. William is too scrunched. The lats aren't flaring out as wide as they should be. And Rolly, again, is just a little too smooth. You can see that stream of water dripping down his stomach. Now Brandon looks better. See, with the brighter background behind him, you can clearly see the outline that he carves, and he's got very pretty shape. Moving into the side chest now. Now, Hadi looks very hard. His delt looks amazing. His side leg looks great. William's got a really good side leg as well. With William, though, I noticed more the arms and the shoulder as opposed to the chest. With Brandon, I feel like he looks monstrous in this pose. I mean, he's dwarfing Hadi, okay? So I think that he's got a distinct size advantage, obviously, and I think he's got prettier shape, better lines. That's why I'm giving him a slight edge over Hadi, even though Hadi is out-conditioning him, no question. Rolly is in the same boat as Brandon, but Brandon's conditioning's a little bit better than Rolly's. That's why Rolly is bringing up the rear. Nice abs on Hadi, too. Now, Bonac should make up some ground in this pose right here because back double biceps, arguably his strongest shot. I also think his most muscular is pretty great, but we'll get to that later. Okay. Yeah, you can see in Rolly's case, he's got like no lower half to his back. The lats just end abruptly, and then there's not much there. The glutes and hamstrings are very faded, look very soft and watery. So he looks impressive through the delts, through the upper traps and the arms, obviously. But other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of very impressive features on him here. Brandon's back is very detailed, very wide. A little bit of wrinkling there in the lower lats, so he's not quite dialed in. And you can see through the legs, his glutes aren't as defined as Williams, for instance. But overall, I would give him the nod over William in this pose because of the huge size advantage that he has, the greater width. And Hattie looks all right, but this is probably his weakest pose. So I think I would have him third after William and after Brandon here. William's got great detail, though, even though he's getting out muscled by Curry. He's definitely packing the most detail through that back. And his glutes from the rear are probably the best in this call-out. Hattie's legs from the rear look gargantuan, though, because he's got those humongous quads, so you can see the sweep even from the back. And the lat spread, I mean, wow, Hattie looks like he's ready to take off, and so does Curry and Rolly, for that matter. Williams kind of coming up short, I'd say. He's definitely the most narrow of the four, but you can make a strong case for Hattie winning this one. I mean, even the delts look ridiculous. Curry looks very good, but again, that dark background, I feel like that's really hurting him. And Rolly, again, the lower body's just not cutting it. So I think he looks good through the back, but the legs let him down here from the rear, as they did from the front as well. Those guys are very comparable, though, in terms of size, in terms of the thickness that they bring. Their backs look almost identical. I'm talking about Brandon Curry and Rolly Winkler. So now we're going to move into the side triceps. Good shot for Hattie, showing off that chiseled midsection. And let's let him get into it. Okay, I actually like Brandon in this one probably the most because his abs look really good from the side. His legs look pretty huge as well. And the arms and shoulder. There's really not a weak point you can pick apart on him. I guess I would just say I'd like to see a sharper glute ham tie-in. Maybe a little bit more detail on the outer head of that quad. Kind of like what William's showing there, but that's about it. That's really nitpicking. I'd still give him the pose here. I'd have Hattie probably in second, but Williams definitely in the running too. You could go either way between those two because I think Williams got better arms. His midsection's very sunken right now. He's doing a good job of sucking it in. But I gotta say, I prefer the way that William used to hit it, where he leaned back into it. It looked very unique, and I thought it was just money. Whereas now he's hitting more of a conventional side tricep, and it's not as good as the way that he used to do it. Go back and watch him in the 2017 Mr. Olympia. You'll see what I mean. Rolly, I don't know if Rolly's just too damn big to even hit a side tricep normally, but I feel like he's not really making good use of his assets. Best triceps on the planet, one could argue, and he's not really showing that here. I would probably have him in fourth, which is just ridiculous when we're talking about the triceps. But I'm not a fan of the execution there. Yeah, and Rolly's got some distension in his stomach. Curry did a little bit too. You could notice it more in his individual routine. But here it's not so bad. It was mostly just in the transitions when he was hitting fancy poses. Hattie looks good. Doesn't have much taper though through the lats. That's his one weakness in this pose, but he still might take it. Tough to tell because they're moving the camera around too much. So Brandon looks great when he's hitting it from the side like this. I'd probably give him the pose. But from the front, the conventional ab and thigh, I'd probably give Hattie a slight edge. Rolly should be winning that, but not this year. And Bonac, of course, bringing up the rear. Most muscular, though. Actually, wow, look at Hattie and look at Bonac. So Hattie's got the width through the delts and crazy shoulders, but his arms just are kind of the weak link in this pose for him compared to the quads and the delts. Bonac, I really like Bonac in this shot. The biceps just popping out. The legs look solid. Shoulders look good. The pecs look really thick. It's just that he's pretty narrow upstairs. That's his only weak point. Curry looks good, but I'm just not seeing a lot of sharp separation right now. Let's let Rolly get into it. Yeah, Rolly looks great in it too. I'd probably give a slight edge to William overall, but Hattie's right there. Curry might actually be in last there, but it was very, very close between all four of them. They all looked competitive. So the reason why I'm saying I think Curry is probably in the lead, number one, look, they had him standing in the center the whole time. So that's usually an indicator of who's leading the call out. So from the judge's point of view, it looks like they're indicating to us that they have Brandon Curry and William as your top two. And then I cannot foresee any situation in which Rolly beats Hattie, at least not here after prejudging. So Hattie's got to be third. But personally, I would put him ahead of Bonac. I don't think I put him ahead of Curry because, yeah, when we're talking about conditioning, Hattie's better. Shot for shot, he's very competitive. But when we talk about things like symmetry, proportion, shape, and just mass and fullness, Curry's got him beat in all those departments. So I don't think it should just come down to conditioning all the time. I think you have to look into these other variables as well. So for that reason, I give a slight edge to Curry for sure. But it's anybody's game still. Depending on how these guys show up tomorrow night, that could seal the deal for any one of them, except Rolly. I don't think he's got too much ground to make up. But any one of those three guys, William, Curry, or Hattie, could take this thing. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching this, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And until then, I'm the Tominator signing off, and I'll be back.